Check with you, time is 6:30 p.m. My name is Kweku. Thank you very much for joining us on News Tonight. Tonight we're bringing you all the top stories that you're looking forward to. Before we do so, let's look at some of the top stories that we have for you. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, MPP alleges a premeditation in Chief Justice's suspension as President Mahama sets up committee to probe petitions for her removal.
We need to go to court. We need to challenge it in court. We have options. It's the exercise of discretionary power. You can challenge it at the High Court.
Also coming up tonight, legitimacy of Akonta Mining Company's activities to be determined in court following heightened scrutiny over its operations in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. Meanwhile, MPP National Youth Wing demand immediate declaration of state of emergency in areas affected by illegal mining. Tonight we'll bring you updates from our world of business, and here the Abidjan-Lagos corridor designed for smooth movement of goods across the sub-region, ready for investment according to ECOWAS. And on the international front this evening, more than 20 killed after gunmen opened fire on tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir. Tonight we have these and many other interesting stories lined up for you. Don't you forget that we'll be bringing you updates from our world of sports, and we'll fill you in with some entertainment news. Be my guest, stay with us as we bring you all these stories and many more. Thank you very much for choosing GHOne TV. Let's take our very first story for tonight. Rather on a sad note, in the early hours of this morning, 11 people lost their lives somewhere in a vehicle they were traveling in, got involved in an accident with a fuel tanker. Well, the fatal accident, which occurred in the eastern region town of Amanase near Suhum on the Accra-Kumasi highway, also resulted in the injuring of about 14 others. Well, 3 victims, including a pregnant woman, are in critical condition and have been referred to the Eastern Regional Hospital in Koforidua. Well, the Eastern Regional Minister, Rita Akosua Eje Awate, visited the victims at the Suhum Government Hospital. Our Eastern Regional correspondent, GHOne, has more.
The gory crash occurred at dawn when an empty fuel tanker with registration number GR1300-16 veered off its lane and collided with a speeding Sprinter bus. Eyewitnesses alleged that the tanker driver may have dozed off while driving.
Tinetuna na ba nese driver ankasa mate ankasa school kwala wu market for sika esesa wa akwenye sika ketwa 200 100 badi na edama police for.
Distant South Regional Police Commander DCOP Ohene Bwedi Bosman visited the scene to assess the situation and coordinate emergency response efforts.
If you are tired, get rest, park somewhere, rest for a while, then you continue. Looking at this situation, from your lane, there was no tire burst, there was nothing. The driver could be that he was tired or something. Then he drove into the other lane. That's unfortunate.
The bodies of the deceased have been deposited at the Suhum Government Hospital morgue, while the injured are receiving treatments at the same hospital.
26 cases. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, 11 of them passed on before they could make it here. That was 11 of them, 9 male and then 2 female. The remaining were seen at our facility, of them being 3 critical cases. The 3 critical cases, we had one pregnant woman who is currently being seen at theatre. We'll be referring one and then managing the rest at our facility. So far, they are all stable and responding to treatment.
Eastern Regional Minister Rita Kosha-Giawate visited the victims and donated 5,000 Ghana cedis to the hospital to aid in purchase of life-saving medication. She also visited the accident scene.
To tell all drivers in Ghana that this period is a period that people are returning home after the Easter. If you are driving and you feel sleepy, rest for a while. If you are driving and you feel tired, rest for a while. It is rather unfortunate we have lost life, and we are also hopeful that our nurses are going to take good care of the people in the hospital. Some are going to be referred to the Koforidua Central Hospital to be taken care of. We want to assure all Ghanaians that our men are on the road, and we are also thankful to the Ghana Police Service, the NADMO, the fire service that came to help the accident victim.
Police say investigations are ongoing to determine the exact cause of the crash. Reporting for GHOne TV and Star FM, Kojo Ansa.
Well, tonight on Insights, our focus is on the Chief Justice. We're back shortly with all the details. Well, on Inside Tonight, President John Mahama has constituted a 5-member committee to investigate petitions against the Chief Justice of Ghana. Well, in line with Article 146(10) of the Constitution, the Chief Justice has been suspended pending the outcome of the inquiry. Well, the committee, composed of eminent figures from the legal, military, academic, and public service sectors, will conduct an in-camera inquiry into the allegations. Well, the committee's formation follows President Mahama's determination that a prima facie case exists against the Chief Justice, warranting further investigations. Spokesperson to the President and Minister for Government Communication, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, confirmed the composition of the committee on Tuesday, April 22. Well, the committee is expected to commence work immediately, with its findings likely to shape the future of Ghana's judicial leadership. Let's give you some sneak peek into the 5-member committee. Well, the committee established under Article 1466 of the Constitution. This comprises the following individuals. So yes, these are the individuals who will sit on the Chief Justice case. Now we have, first of them, Justice Gabriel Scott Poaman. He is chairman. He is a seasoned justice of the Supreme Court. Justice Poaman brings extensive judicial expertise to the committee. You've seen a bit on him right there on your screen. We have Justice Samuel Kwame Edibu Asiedu. Justice Samuel Kwame Edibu Asiedu. Now, he's another respected justice of the Supreme Court. Justice Edibu Asiedu is known for his impartiality and commitment to upholding the rule of law. Well, the third is Daniel Yao Domolovo, and I didn't bring any justice there. Daniel Yao Domolovo, the former Auditor General, renowned for his anti-corruption stance and rigorous approach to accountability. He adds a lawyer of investigative rigor to the committee. So yes, Daniel Yadomlevo will be part of the committee that will sit on the Chief Justice case. Now, the fourth will be Major Flora Bazwanura Dalugo. Yes, Major Flora Bazwanura Dalugo. She would be a part of the committee. And then we would have Prof. James Sefa Jisa, an associate professor of the University of Analytical Depth Academia. So he brings on some analytical depths in here. Well, joining us via Zoom is Law Professor Appiagyei. He joins us to speak to these issues. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for your time. We are grateful that you are joining us, Professor Appiagyei. Prof, so I have varied views on varied reactions on the Chief Justice, the news coming out on the CJ's suspension. Tonight, can you take time to share with us your views as you've received it? How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm looking at it strictly from the point of view of what the Constitution says. And at this stage of the process, the first is a two-tier process to determine if the Chief Justice against whom petition has been brought can remain in office or not. The first process is establishing a prima facie case, which as we know, the Chief Justice protested about the fact that she wasn't given the opportunity to present her side of the case. She did that, and then the Council of State has determined that a prima facie case has been established. So the next step is to set up a committee to investigate the allegations leveled against her. And when the committee's report is submitted, that is not subject to any appeal. It is final, and the President is obliged by the Constitution to respect that decision and to ensure that it is complied with.
All right, so Prof, the MPP has been responding to this. I'd want you to also look at it shortly, but let's just quickly get their reaction to this Member of Parliament for Mesia South, Nana AJ Bafwo Ewa, says he will head to court, the Supreme Court, to challenge the President's decision to suspend the CG. Let's just listen to it, and then we'll come back and engage you some more.
It's bad for our democracy. It's bad for business because we are going to, investors will lose confidence, right? We risk a highly partisan, politicized judiciary that the ordinary Ghanaian may not have confidence in. We know how our politicians sometimes want to control the system. And so if that becomes the case, you, the ordinary Ghanaian, when you have a case against a politician or somebody connected to a politician, you are in trouble. I think we need to go to court. We need to challenge it in court. We have options. It's the exercise of discretionary power. You can challenge it at the High Court, right? You can also challenge it at the Supreme Court by saying that in the absence of a regulation, the exercise of that power is unconstitutional. It will be arbitrary, it will be capricious exercise of discretion for the President to suspend the Chief Justice. Article 296C, it says that where in this Constitution or in any other law, discretionary power is vested in any person or authority, that discretionary power shall be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid. The exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased, either by resentment, prejudice, or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with due process of law. And where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, they shall be published by constitutional instrument or statutory instrument regulations that are not inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution or that other law to govern the exercise of the discretionary power. 1416. Where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may, in the case of the Chief Justice acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. May.
Well, tonight, may I mention that Imani's Franklin Kujo is on standby. We would be engaging him as well. And then we have Francis Ahiagba also on the line. Richard Ahiagba, I beg your pardon, on the line. He would be joining us to speak to some of the issues. So, gentlemen, please kindly hold on. But let me just stay with you a little more, Prof. APJ. What I want to find out from you. So, the MPP claims this action by the president is premeditated because of the certain statements made by the then candidate Mahama. Granted that those statements were made, should the president have acted differently for fear of being accused of premeditation or witch hunting, or even if, like in this case, a prima facie case has been determined? Hello, Prof. PJ. Are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm here. The line was
dropped a little bit. My apologies on that. So, yes, we are back. We've listened to the MP. He's made his point. He says, look, we're definitely going to court over this. But I'm tempted to find out from you that the MPP claims that this action by the president is premeditated because of certain statements that the then candidate Mahama made in the past. Would want to find out from you, should the president have acted differently?
Thank you for having me and for to respond to this point. I think that what the member of parliament is saying is a little bit far-fetched, because the constitution is clear that the president has the power, which is the whether to suspend the chief justice or not, and at a certain point in time he can also revoke that suspension. So I think I'm not sure going to the Supreme Court or any other court for a determination of that matter would really help the case of the member of parliament. Now, having said that, the question of the premeditation, I think that is also a little bit difficult to rely on that to conclude that the president has been prejudiced or has taken a position which he shouldn't have. The rule is clear. We've all questioned the process involved in the removal of a chief justice, and that's the process is what the president is following. And if you're going by the procedure that the constitution itself has spelled out, the president has not violated any constitutional provision, and what he is doing is clearly backed by law. As to whether it is the process that he should have taken or not, that's a different matter. It is within his powers to do that. So long as a petition was sent to him, he became bound. There was no way he could run away from it. And that is why a prima facie case needs to be established. And if it is not established, then the case will die a natural death. And so that is why when the Chief Justice asked for the opportunity to respond in the name of natural justice, she was given that opportunity. So having done so, up to that point, the government, the president had not done anything wrong. And the Council of States has made a determination that a prima facie case has been established. Therefore, the next tier of the process is to set up a committee, which again the president has done. In all, at the end of the day, a decision will be made by the committee, and as I said, the president will be bound by that decision.
All right, Prof.
The process itself is not very fair, it's not very transparent, and it gives room for abuse. But we are not saying that the president has abused it, and I don't think it lies in the power of anybody to come to that conclusion. Or at least I'm speaking as a lawyer. I think we should allow the process to go through before we can for a determination to be made, instead of allowing the politicization of the whole process, which at this stage I think is going way too far.
All right.
might cause some problems for us as a country.
Okay, Prof, thank you very much. Let me get to Richard Ahiagba now. Richard, let me find out from you. So, yes, Prof, like rightly mentioned, the president has done no wrong. A prima facie case has been established. Are you saying that even though the prima facie case has been established, it was wrong for the president to have gone ahead to suspend the CJ? Hello, Richard Ahiagba, if you're still on the line.
Hello.
Hello, Richard. Thank you very much for your time. Kindly, did you hear my question?
No, I missed your question, please.
All right. So I've been interacting with Prof. PJ a short while ago. He says the president has done nothing wrong. He's followed due process. I'm mentioning that, look, a prima facie case has been established against CJ. The president has gone ahead to suspend her. Do you think there was a wrongdoing in there?
Yes, the whole thing is wrong to begin with. I heard Professor PJ earlier on, I think on Joy, agreeing with the CJ, or agreeing, yes, technically agree with the CJ that this is a technical process. This whole thing is not a technical process to begin with. The technical aspect of it, which is the administration of the constitutional provision, that is secondary to the matter. What is primary is the political motive, the decision to remove the person. The process is just a conduit to activate what their political motives are. And the political motive of the NDC is to remove the is to remove the CJ, to pave the way to remove the electoral commissioners. And that, for me, is dangerous. That, for me, is the issue. So the technical matter to do with the adherence to the Constitution, that is evident. We all know what the provision of Article 146 is. So there's nothing technical about it. So this matter is not a legal matter. It's a political matter. The motive of the NDC to remove the EC is what is at stake, and the implication that has for our democracy. That's really the matter. So the position that this is, president hasn't done anything wrong, his motive is wrong. His motive is against our democracy. To aim at the equal
so Richard,
branch of
Richard, I'm surprised you mentioned this. Richard,
wrong.
How do you know his motive? Which motive are we talking about here? You say his motive is wrong, and you say it on authority. Yes. Which motive are you talking about?
The motive to remove the Chief Justice, that motive is wrong. This whole thing is not an incidental matter. It's a well-orchestrated political agenda to remove the Chief Justice, to pave the way to remove the EC. So if you are pretending to think that it's a legal issue, I'm telling you it's not. It's not. Now, if you are saying that, look, we have a democratic setup which has an equal branch, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive of equal stature. Now you have the executive with the benefit of conveyance in Article 146, orchestrate or have these rather unidentified petitions show up, which content we don't know. And we who are the people who put them there, they are going about this thing as though we don't matter. And they are cooking this up, telling us that they are adhering to Constitution. No, the Constitution is just a tool. The real motive, which is political, to remove the CJ, okay, is their political interest. But their political interest is not Ghana's interest. It's again because the action and the implication it has is actually for our democracy, which is the impact it's going to have on us, we the citizens.
Richard, your colleagues in Parliament have mentioned that they've seen the content. Your colleagues in Parliament, are you saying you've not seen it yourself? You've described it, they have described it as frivolous. What is the content in there?
I have not. Listen, I have not seen it. If you have seen it, put it out. And I'm telling you that the reason why I think that is frivolous is that, look, the threshold that must exist for you or for anyone to petition the removal of the president. You know, the president can also be removed. It is provided in the Constitution. But there's a higher threshold. Okay? So we shouldn't make it a mean thing or a simple thing for anyone to just bring up any politically driven petition to say that we are going to, by virtue of 146, trigger a process to remove the CJ. I am telling you that if there's a reason to remove the Chief Justice, that reason must be compelling enough such that whether you have read the petition or not.
But if you say you have not seen the motive, Richard.
Hold on, coming. The point I'm making to you is that if there is ever a reason for us to want to remove a Chief Justice, that reason must be manifest. It must be clear to you, it must be clear to me, whether you read the petition
but
or
you
not.
Say you have not seen it.
Now, can you tell me any one thing the Chief Justice has done for which reason you, as a citizen, would say that for this reason, if they are removing her, I agree? Is there anything you can point to? There's none. So everything.
But you have not seen it. You have not seen it. How then you jump into conclusion that?
That's what I'm telling you.
But you have not seen it. As of now, you don't know the details of it. But words have gone out to say, look, it's frivolous.
Yes, you didn't hear what I just told you. I'm saying to you that
it should be manifest enough
to be a reason.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not.
And you are saying it's not manifest enough.
No, what is it? I don't know. I mean, you sitting there, can you point to one thing that you say that Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has done, such that she merits to remove her? Do you know anything? You are in the media. Anything that ever would have happened in her conduct would have been something that you know about because you would have reported on it. Is there any one thing you can tell me?
But there may be things you don't know in there. I don't know. But there may be things you don't know in there. And I am following the information that has come out that, of course, a prima facie case has been established against the CJ.
But I'm saying that if you want to achieve that, there is nothing impossible if you want to achieve in a political realm that you cannot. I'm saying that this is a political design to remove the CJ, so they'll find all the excuses in the book to establish a case against her. That's what it is, simply. So Richard, you are not answering my question. Hold on, you are not answering my question.
No, Richard, you were supposed to answer my questions. I just wanted to really establish the fact that if you have the content of it, but you don't.
But in good conscience, okay, you are a citizen, and this conversation is not MPP.
Okay, kindly hold on for me. I'll come back to you. Okay, kindly, let me do the questions here. Kindly hold on for me. I'm getting to Franklin Cudjoe. Franklin Cudjoe is founding president of the policy think tank Imani Africa, and he joins me for more on this particular details with the CJ. Franklin, thank you very much for your time. If you can hear me now, you put on Facebook post which reads, "How do we suspend or remove a whole Chief Justice without the public getting to know why?" Now, you've gone on. You conclude by saying this is an unwise constitutional dictate. Wouldn't a reason to the suspension give away contents of the petition, which may believe should be kept away from the public? Franklin, did you put this out there? What is your reason?
Well, good evening to yourself and my colleagues on the line. First of all, I'm curious that the chief, should I say, excuse me, the chief, well, the person who is supposed to be guaranteeing our, if you like, our liberties, the Supreme Court or at the judiciary level, is being taken through a process which is not transparent to us. I don't understand. I mean, I'm asking myself, how am I supposed to know why this lady is being suspended if I haven't seen the what should I call it, the petition? I haven't seen the details. It's a bit difficult. I can understand that the Constitution states that, but how did we miss that? I don't know the wisdom which accompanied this particular constitutional should I call it requirement.
So Franklin, you've mentioned it right, that constitutional requirement. Franklin, there's a constitutional process to follow. Are you saying that following that process is wrong now?
Oh yeah, but certainly the point I'm making. I mean, why should a few people sit somewhere and then read some document presented to them and they alone decide that, well, someone is wrong, someone's in the wrong, and the person should be hanged? What if... How do we know the rest of the public? We don't understand. We don't know what it is. You get what I'm saying? It's a bit difficult. I'm beginning to think that this whole thing we need to take a look at the law again. But as it stands now, it's very difficult for me to. I could give you many reasons why I think the Chief Justice has questions to answer, but that may not really constitute what may have been put in the petition. You understand? Those petitions, 3 of them. So it's important for us to know what exactly is in those petitions, and then what really led to the prima facie, whatever the decision that has been taken. It sounds too quite uncivilized, really. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, imagine you have been taken to court, and then everywhere else is shut, and then a few people sit on your case, and nobody's allowed. Even your lawyer is not even allowed to be in there, and then all of a sudden you are slammed and given some hefty sentence. How would that make you feel? It's difficult for me.
But Franklin, you know that Chief Justice would be heard in camera. She's allowed to have her legal representation. I'm not sure if you don't know this part of it.
But you see, what we are discussing is a serious matter. I feel strongly that, look, this in camera things not complete nonsense, really. I mean, first of all, this person is the one, as I said, is supposed to be basically the person who holds the Constitution for everybody, more or less, at the highest level of, at the court. Then this same person is being taken through a process supposedly fair, and then probably hanged. How does that make sense? I don't understand it. So look, yes, it may be something we can't change right now because it's already in the Constitution. But we need to know. I think it will be wise for us to know exactly what the reason. I've seen a few things being published here and there, which will constitute procurement infractions or basically, should I call it administrative abuse? But I don't know whether they form part of the petition or the reasons why she's being removed. I don't know.
Franklin, I put a note down, and let me just share it with you. Maybe you can help me with some answers. So the decision to suspend Chief Justice pending the outcome of a committee's investigation is a discretionary one. So the president, in the interest of the judiciary, should not have suspended the Chief Justice. Do you agree to this?
Well, of course, it is discretionary. At this stage, everything is discretionary. Otherwise, we should know why this has happened. Yes, in fact, there's a provision that suggests that, look, you can only remove a Chief Justice upon stated misbehavior or infirmity of the mind. But I mean, if these instances are cited, then it could be one, right? That stated misbehavior, because we don't know her. I think she's still sound. She's not sick. So we need to know those behaviors that constituted this, should I call it, reasons why she's being called, she's going to be hanged. So look, if we don't get to know that, trust me, it will be difficult for me to sit here, even though I know that the judiciary is not necessarily one of the best. I don't like them that much. I have to tell you the truth, because I feel that there's a lot of, how do I put it? They are not innovative. Most of them don't think outside of the box. They are strict textual. Should I call it? How do I call it? There's a term they give it. They're strict. They judge according to the strictest textual. What should I call it? Reasoning. A few of them have been bolder, though. I mean, the likes of Justice Tateba, I've heard so a few times. I think he's been a bit bold. So all right, for me, from the get-go, I have a challenge. But seriously, I think that look, we need to know what is happening. I mean, all right. I could understand why, if there's a sour reason, somebody goes to put up reason, sour disenfranchisement, maybe yes. But look, at this stage, we are speculating, and I don't think it's helpful for us.
Franklin, thank you. Thank you for the points you've made. I'll kindly come back to Richard Ahiagba. Richard, thank you for your patience and waiting. And sorry about all the interjections here, but let me come back to you on a post you put on social media and try to get some answers to it. You rightly mentioned on social media that the EC chair is next. You mean it?
I mean it. That's the drive. And the NDC is on a roll, and they think that nobody can stop them. And somehow we're all...
She should have actually gone first, actually. She should be gone
yes,
long ago.
I didn't see, and you see, so...
She should be gone long ago.
Yeah, so you see, Franklin, and this is the point. The question is that there are petitions pending before the president now, petitions on the president's desk regarding the Jean Mensa and company at the EC. The question is, why hasn't the president forwarded that? He got those back in January 2025. Why hasn't it referred those to the Chief Justice, right? Because why? Why has it kept those petitions and now is taking action on removing the CJ? The only reasonable deduction then would be that he is sure that this Chief Justice will not go with the flimsy excuses. I know Franklin will not agree, but the flimsy excuses in those 3 petitions that I have seen to remove the EC, and so therefore he wants to remove the CJ to pave the way for a more pliant CJ, a more acquiescing CJ, so he can use that CJ to remove the EC. And I think that while he's doing that, he is aiming at our democracy. I agree perfectly with Franklin to the extent that we, the people, are not privy to the matters at issue in the removal of the Chief Justice. That is problematic because this is our democracy, not Muhammad's democracy. This is our democracy. We have given them power to exercise on our behalf. So if any matter arising to the extent that an equally powerful or equal in stature arm of the government is being removed, there should be a higher threshold. The processes in 146 are expressed and we all see it. Before you get to triggering 146, the reasons must be compelling. And that's why I was asking you that question, that can you, and Franklin actually confirmed that, can you, at any given point now, since 2023, when Madam Gertrude Torkornoo became Chief Justice, a matter that is so egregious that you yourself will have comfort to say that because of this, if she's being removed, I think that it is proper. It will serve as a deterrent for other CJs not to conduct themselves in that matter. And my answer for you, confident answer for you, is no. There isn't anything egregious that she has done either by misconducting herself that you can tell reported in the media. So
that is you confidently. But Richard, as I sit here, if anybody implicates the Chief Justice whatsoever, you can have an issue and you can carry on with the issue. Petition, but it's not everything that will come in the public eye. I continuously mention that I have not seen the document. You boldly mention also that you have not seen it. So, but you keep mentioning that it is trivial.
You are missing the point. I am making a practical point to you that you are a media person.
Absolutely.
You have been reading reports. You have been reporting the news. Is there anything that has happened in this country relative to the Chief Justice that you have reported or have seen reported that you would agree with that this is a step too far for a CJ to behave in that manner?
Of course, if it's made public,
the petition, please,
if it's brought
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. So that whether or not you have seen the petition, because of that conduct, you can have comfort to say that if she's being removed for that, I think that that conduct was unacceptable, was unbecoming of a CJ. Therefore, I agree. Even before you see that, there isn't any public report that shows a clear misconduct by the woman. So therefore, any petition is amounting to nitpicking, driven by politics to put together some ideas to say that these are the basis. I don't see anything expressed. If we are going to remove President Mahama or we are going to call for his impeachment tomorrow, reason or the misconduct is being expressed. You yourself should be able to see that, if President Mahama is removed or is impeached because of this thing, yes, it's against the oath of his office that is holding.
Richard,
we don't have anything like that. Now, all of a sudden, you say that you are removing a CJ. That is undemocratic. That is wrong. That is a danger to our democracy. That's the point we are making.
All right,
And the
Richard,
president
thank
must
you.
stay away
Because
from
of time,
this.
I would have loved to stay
Process
on
must
and
be
on and
halted.
on, but because of time, Richard, I plead. I'm sure we'll get an extended moment in our subsequent bulletin and we'll stay on the subject some more. I'll take a break at this point, but yes, we still have more stories for you on our local front. We're back shortly with more details. All right, so thank you very much for keeping faith with us. It's now time for us to bring you some business updates. And here, President of the Economic Community of West African States Commission, Omar Aliu Touare, has indicated that the Abidjan-Lagos corridor, designed for the smooth and quick movement of goods across the sub-region, is ready for investments. Well, according to him, this multi-million-dollar initiative promises a 15% return on investments.
Projects have been launched. These include the Lagos-Abidjan Corridor Highway, as well as the Abidjan-Praia Corridor Highway, and several secondary corridors and joint border posts. The 1,028-kilometer Lagos-Abidjan Corridor Highway is one of the largest economic corridors on the continent. About $42 million has been successfully mobilized to finance the technical preparatory studies of the project. The feasibility and preliminary design studies, which have been completed, show a significant investment cost of nearly $15 billion, with an average economic rate of return of 15%. The corridor, the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor Excellencies, is now ready for investors.
Well, in other ECOWAS stories, President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana is ready to be the bridge for ECOWAS reintegration as he rallies West African leaders to restore unity and cooperation within the regional bloc. While speaking at the 50th anniversary launch of the ECOWAS here in Accra, President Mahama urged member states to put aside divisions and return to the spirit of solidarity that has defined the community for 5 decades. Well, Presidential Affairs correspondent Abdul Hanan Adam has more.
Heads of state and dignitaries from across West Africa converge in Accra as the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, kicked off celebrations to mark its golden jubilee since its establishment in 1975. The 50th anniversary is a significant milestone symbolizing 5 decades of regional integration, cooperation, and shared aspiration.
This event is the beginning of a string of activities that will take place in each member state of ECOWAS as a way of giving concrete expression to the ideal of ECOWAS of the people. In marking the 50th anniversary, our objective is to celebrate, reflect, and recalibrate our community.
While ECOWAS remains the most integrated regional bloc on the continent with robust trade cooperation, it continues to face major challenges, including the growing threat of terrorism and insecurity. In his address, President John Dramani Mahama called for renewed engagement, urging the regional body not to isolate Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger following their withdrawal from ECOWAS.
In moments like these, diplomacy and rebuild trust in our community. This period, ladies and gentlemen, calls for even greater solidarity and understanding for the difficult challenges that
commitment to dialogue with the Sahelian states for reintegration.
In hopes of reconciliation and reintegration, we must remain open and willing to engage in sustained, constructive dialogue with our estranged brothers, those member states currently outside our fold. At the same time, there is an urgent need to implement bold, comprehensive reforms that will enhance our institutions' effectiveness, relevance, and credibility to meet the challenges of today and the future.
As ECOWAS begins its year-long celebration, the regional bloc is renewing its dedication to the core ideals of African unity, peace, and economic integration. Reporting for GHOne News, Abdul Hanan Adam, Accra.
All right, so that's about all we have for you in business tonight. When we come back, we're bringing you the latest from our world of sports. Do stay with us.
And you're welcome on to sport. And in our first story, women's football, it is our Premier League side, Epiphany Warriors, have appointed an experienced coach, GHOne Adakwa, the club's new head coach. The appointments mark a big coup for the Warriors, who are currently in their first season in the top flight and sit fifth on the league table for the women's division. Adakwa joined the team shortly after resigning from GHOne Ladies in December, where he spent 9 trophy-laden seasons, including guiding them to multiple league titles and cementing their place as dominant force in Ghanaian women's football and also on the African continent. Unveiling was done today here in Accra, with Adakwa unveiled as new coach for Women's Premier League side Epiphany Warriors here in Accra. And of course, from women's football, let's do men's football now to the Porcupine Warriors, where a new coach coming today trained with the Porcupine Warriors in Kumasi at the coach training grounds today, after he was unveiled as the new coach for the Porcupine Warriors, taking over from coach Dr. Prosper Nate Ogum. The coach, Zito, who was with Dream Service beginning the day, as we train with them this evening at the Adakujache grounds, as you can see in your shots now. Zito handling the Kotoko team for the first time this evening in Kumasi as they train ahead of the weekend's fixtures in the Ghana Premier League. He replaced Prosper Ogum, who was sacked yesterday after a poor round of results in the ongoing games in the Ghana Premier League. That's it, the man for you, Karim Zito, new coach for the Porcupine Warriors. Already beginning job or coaching the Porcupine Warriors. In Andens, don't forget, currently there are 2 games ongoing, big games. In the EPL, City are taking on Aston Villa, ongoing now. City lead 1-0. And yes, I'm few minutes time, Barca take on Mallorca in the Spanish League as well for games on tour. Now that should be it for us. Back to you, Kweku, for the rest of the bulletin.
All right, so thank you very much, Benghazi. We're ready to bring you some international updates shortly. On the international front tonight, at least 24 people have been killed after gunmen opened fire on a group of domestic tourists visiting a popular beauty spot in Indian-administered Kashmir. Authorities have told the BBC. Well, the attack took place in Pahalgam, a town in the Himalayas, often described as the Switzerland of India. Well, the region's chief minister said the attack was much larger than anything we've seen directed at civilians in recent years. Reports suggest that there are a large number of wounded, with some in critical condition. India's prime minister said the perpetrators would be brought to justice. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack. There has been a long-running insurgency in the Muslim-majority region since 1989, although violence has waned in recent years. So some disturbing news from India's administered Kashmir, in there where more than 20 killed after gunmen opened fire in Kashmir. All right, so we're grateful for your time staying with us throughout the bulletin. My name is Kweku Temeng. On behalf of the entire production team tonight, we want to salute you, appreciate you, and also urge you to stay on